Hello brothers and sisters of the Imperium, and welcome to another Chapter Master Morgan Kitbash video. Today we're going to show you how to turn these into these, a squad of Heavy Intercessors. So before we dive in, let me take you back. Way back, in fact. Now this video was made in the 1st of February 2021, and way back in September 2020 a teaser launched for future multi-part kit for Heavy Intercessors. And at the time, this is why this video has been done so late, when I turned these Eradicators into Heavy Intercessors at the time, because I just don't like to wait for things, and plus I saw the particular sculpts that were there and I thought, right, let me see if I can do better. After all, that's the objective of doing any kit bash, to take what Games Workshop's made and hopefully in theory make it better. So in September 2020 they launched a teaser of Heavy Intercessors, and I didn't make this video back then. I finished converting my Eradicators, which you can see here, into Heavy Intercessors in, I think, October, at which point I posted them on Chapter Master Valrak's Upper Hive stream models video, and he was kind enough to give me some feedback on it.
Yeah, and I'll show it off then, for now. So we've got Morgan's Heavy Intercessor squad. He's made his own. He's sick away.
Cheers,
so
Val.
He basically just made his own. Awesome stuff, Morgan's like, fuck this. I'm not waiting for these pre-orders to go live. I'll just make my own. They look really, really nice as well. They actually do look really, really good.
Cheers, mate. Then, following that, I assumed that they'd be out by Christmas. I thought, Games Workshop, you're gonna release Heavy Intercessors by Christmas. You'd be mad not to. And now we've only just had, at time of making this, the Blade Guard released and the multi-part Eradicators. These here are the Eradicators from the Indomitus box set, and you can actually see, I'm not going to do a whole kit bash video on it, but the Eradicators are these amazing meta, they've been slightly nerfed recently, these amazing meta current 9th edition melter guys. And you can see I've kit bashed this guy here with these two melter gun barrels to give him a multi-melter. I have a second barrel here, as you can see. All I did was chop the original barrel off and replace it with one of the spare ones from the Eradicators, which I used to make the Heavy Intercessors. So what we'll do is I'll go through and I'll tell you what you need for the kit bash as you go through. To be honest, by the time you're watching this, the Heavy Intercessors, I believe, have just been released in another box set, but you have to get Necrons with them. At the time of making this, the multi-part still hasn't been made. And hell, if you've got some spare Eradicators, or you just want to challenge yourself to make some cooler Heavy Intercessors, then please keep watching, as I'll show you how to do that today. So what will you need for this kit bash? To start off with, you will need 6 Eradicators. Where do I get Eradicators? Well, I got my Eradicators on eBay. I bought 6 Eradicators on eBay, secondhand, and they were around £15 for 3. So you are looking at £5 per Eradicator. To be honest, I've just seen the new Eradicator multi-part released, and it's $32.50. So actually, to buy brand new for a multi-part Eradicator kit, you could actually pay the same and buy them new, should you want to make Heavy Intercessors out of them. So that's what you'll need to start with, is 6 Eradicators to make 6 Heavy Intercessors. Why Eradicators? Well, Eradicators have the same Gravis armor that Heavy Intercessors have. And these are the 6 Heavy Intercessors here, and they're all very unique in their own way. So I'll show you what I've used to make them on each. So the first one that I made was this guy here, and he was by far the hardest and toughest to do. Now, what you need for this one is you'll need an Eradicator. You'll need a spare bear Eradicator head. What I bought was I actually bought a set of eBay of spare Eradicators heads, 6. And, well, should I say, yeah, no, not Eradicator heads. They were, at the time, Aggressor heads. First point is, you cannot use original Firstborn Marine heads on Primaris Marines, whether it's Gravis or whether it's regular Intercessors. The head is at least 2/3 bigger for Primaris Marines. I actually bought a really cool Iron Hands head because I really like this kind of mechanical half kind of. I actually painted that in. He was supposed to just be a normal head, but I painted that in half of his head, like the all metallic like that. But the Primaris Marine heads are bigger. So if you're doing any kit bashing, that's a really good point. Firstborn Marines, i.e. the original Marines, their heads are much, much smaller. So I bought an Iron Hands one. I put it in there. It looked ridiculous. It looked like he had a tiny head. There's that meme, isn't there, from the tiny head hunter guy from Beetlejuice. If anyone knows what that is, you'll get the reference. So that's the first thing you'll need is 6 Aggressor heads. To be honest, if you're buying Eradicator kit, you'll get spare heads in there anyway. Now, going back to the objective of my kit bashing, or kit bashing for me in general, what is the general philosophy? General philosophy for me is to improve the model, the sculpt, if possible, that Games Workshop have made. Okay, that's quite a, their sculpts in general are beautiful. Or, at worst, to make it a little bit different. You might want different poses. You might not like the standard poses that have come out with the new Heavy Intercessors. I mean, we haven't seen the full multi-part kit. At time of doing this, you probably have seen them. But let's say you don't like them or you want to improve them. As far as I've seen, a traditional heavy bolter guy with the belt feed, a nice big fat belt feed like that with the backpack, I haven't seen that previewed. They might bring it out in the multi-part. But anyway, if you want to see a proper heavy bolter in the Firstborn Marine style, of which parts are used for this, then this is for you. So let's start with this guy. How did we make this guy? Now, the other main philosophy point, as I've said in my other kit bash videos, is you have to change a minimum amount of change on the model. What do I mean by that? You can always cut away more. That is the main philosophy. So don't start hacking away, having an idea of what you want to do. Oh, I'll chop the bolter off, I'll chop the arm off, although we do a fair bit of that. So what you see here is this area here where you've got the arm is the same as the Eradicator. He's even got the hand on top. Let me show you one to compare. It's very similar. Now, I was like, okay, I should probably chop the whole melter gun off. And I'm glad I didn't do that. As you can see, they actually look very similar when you hold them up like that. So what I did was, I thought, right, again, there's this side issue. I bought, for this guy, a heavy bolter kit from eBay. You can have Firstborn. This isn't Primaris, Firstborn. And when it arrived in the post, this is before I started hacking away at this model, I realized, again, everything Firstborn is like 2/3 smaller. So you can't take the original heavy bolter from the upgrade kit. And if I can find a link, I will put one in the description below. So as an example, they come and go, so you have to be quite lucky. The bolter was about 2/3 smaller, the Firstborn one. So I was like, right, I can't do that. Let's use your common sense. So the sculpt of the original melter gun here, melter rifle, whatever you want to call it. I know it's been told. Let's just call it a melter gun going forward. So what did I change from this model to this model? I, first of all, cut off just the nozzle, just the melter nozzle. I just cut that off, okay? Cut that off the front, okay? Again, minimum. If I want to cut more, I can. So I didn't start hacking. Then I cut off the fuel canister underneath here. as you can see there. And that was about it. That was all I cut off, which is the nozzle and the fuel canister underneath. So that's when I added a little purity seal to the front there. You can see I left on the fuel nozzle, or should I say fuel pipe. And what is this bit here for the bolter? This is, as I've said, a firstborn Marine, as in an actual original Marine heavy bolter. And you'll see here the belt feed is really nice and long, but the original firstborn Marines are much smaller. So you'll notice when you get this upgrade kit, it comes in a number of parts, and you need to cut it. You need to cut this belt off the sprue. It will go up to the elbow, and then it will go straight into this backpack. As you can imagine, it's like half the distance. So you'll need to cut this full belt thing off. It will come in 3 parts, and you'll need to stick them into one long one like that. It'll take a little bit of jiggling to get in. Then you stick it from the here. It should slot nicely in the bottom there, and then you then stick it into the back of this belt feed. So this backpack here comes with the heavy bolter belt feed, and then you'll just stick that directly onto the back. But it will not fit that flush. So where you've got the backpack here, you'll need to take a chunk out of the back. What do I mean by that? It'll be quite scary. So you see this section here where you've got this round circle here, and then you've got this area here. You'll need to shave that dome off. You'll need to shave that dome off straight. Again, start slowly so it will fit relatively flush. The backpack will fit relatively flush without looking ridiculous, like you've just stuck it on. It still does look a bit like that, but it looks cool. Now the problem is, even when you stick this heavy bolter feed ammunition backpack, whatever you want to call it, on the back, you'll be able to see through. So these are just general pipes from my big box that I've just stuck in there, and just to fill in those gaps. Otherwise you can see all the way through. And I've got some other ones from my bit box, some pipes here. I believe these were from actually from a Tempestus Scions weapon. I think they're special las gun. But you just need to find some pipes from your bit box, and then you just stick those on there and stick them under there so they fit flush. And like I said, just to remind you again, the head is from an Aggressor. Now, what else have we missed here? We've missed the most important thing, which is the barrel. Where did this barrel come from? Because it's a bolter barrel, right? The heavy bolter, like I said, you cut off the belt feed, and you'll be left with a heavy bolter. And all you do is you cut the heavy bolter nozzle off that heavy bolter, and you just very carefully stick it on the end. Now do be careful, because it's not perfect, as you can see. It will come in 2 parts. So you'll need to stick the heavy bolter together and then cut the nozzle off and then stick it on there. And you get this nice big fat heavy bolter nozzle, which you can stick on there. And that is about it for this guy. Remember again, just to recap, the hand stays where it is. Let's get those nice and flush there. Hand stays where it is. Pose stays where it is. Let's put those there. Haha, that's better. And you're just cutting off the nozzle and cutting off the fuel case underneath. And that is that guy. So that's that guy done. And now we'll move on to the next one. So the next one we're going to move on to is probably my second favorite of the heavy intercessors. We've done the super heavy bolter guy. This, because we'll need 6 eradicators to make these, you'll actually have, in terms of a squad of heavy intercessors which come in 5, you'll have 6. So what this guy is here, I've actually decided he's a captain. Now, if you're not already familiar, this army, you can see this color paint scheme, is the Jade Fists, which are an Ultramarine, don't boo me too much, an Ultramarine Successor Chapter, my own one. And the main paint scheme is this lovely jade colour and this reflective kind of brass gold. And with my captains, I always paint their helmets gold. That's just my particular paint scheme. But it's actually, you can see he's got this cool white stripe down the front there. So he's actually a veteran, who I believe have white helmets, a veteran captain. But that's my own design. So the main challenge now we've kind of upgraded from this guy, who's just a standard mold, standard pose, haven't changed any of the arms, to this guy. So it's quite ambitious to turn an Eradicator, whose normal pose is that, into this. So his arms are the same arms that were in the same pose here, which, believe me, is quite a challenge. You'll need to have some patience to do this section. So what have I done? I cut the Eradicator's arm off. I cut the wrist, because if you think about it, his fist was originally like that, and you turn it so he's almost punching the air. And then I even gave him a finger as well, which I cannibalized from one of my spare intercessors that I had there. So let's get this guy focused. That's better. I'll continue like this. So I know it's a meme as well, like a captain or a sergeant has to be pointing. So you cut the Eradicator arm off, stick it back on, cut the wrist off, turn the hand round, stick the hand back on, and get a finger from another model and stick that on there. So you've got this guy that's pointing. Now, to get the arm so it's outreaching like that is quite tricky. What you'll need to do is glue the arm on, wait for it to slightly dry, then pull the arm out, then put more glue on the inside. Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but you know, from a distance, it looks cool, right? Well, I think it does. So, again, cut the arm off, glue the arm back on, pull the arm out when it's almost dry and put some more glue in there so it sticks at this angle. It's very difficult to get it out there. Same goes for the other arm here as well. You cut the arm off, rotate it round, stick it on, and when it's almost dry, pull it out and put some more glue under the arm, and then pull it out again if you need to. That's how you get them to have their arms stretched out like that, when they're usually very, in together, tight in together. You can see their arms are all tucked in. And to be honest, with the 3 Eradicators, I was a bit disappointed that they didn't have much of a pose. I actually, with this guy, reposed this guy because he's pointing more up into the air. So they're all normally just pointing to the left, pointing to their left, which is not terribly interesting, but you can do a lot with just a basic cast by just moving the head at an angle or moving the arm up, just to give them a more dynamic pose. If they're all pointing in the same direction, then it's a bit, there's not much you can do. So that's how you get them to have these arms that are straight up in the air and out, kind of stretched out from either side. So the problem is with an Eradicator, well, at least the monopose ones from Indomitus, they actually have this annoying hole that goes through here and connects to the front arm, so you'll be left with a gap or a hole here, or if you cut it off, just a hole. So you'll need to get yourself a sprue of purity seals, or get some spare purity seals from your box set. And that's the arms on this section, and that applies to all of these heavy intercessors. That's how all of these arms, you can see this guy here, which we'll come to in a sec. I'll go through these other guys very quickly at the end because it's the same principle for how I've made them. But this was the most ambitious in terms of the arms being stretched out and a finger pointing, where you actually have to turn a clenched fist into a finger pointing. The other main part of this, again, is the bolter, this is still the melter gun. Do not cut off the melter rifle, pardon me, because it's a beautiful sculpt and it's a really big, nice weapon. So here I only replaced two things. The barrel, it was the same principle as the heavy bolter, and I have always loved this auto bolt rifle magazine. I just think it just looks so alley. Alley is a military phrase for cool looking. And it also makes it look like a bolter. You can play these in the actual game. They've got the Heavy Intercessors have got 3 variants. They've got long range, mid range, and like a Stalker or a short range or an auto bolter. But you can play them as whatever you want. But I just love this barrel, and it just makes it, the weapon itself, the melter rifle, which you're using as a bolter, the original Eradicator one, it makes it look much more legit as a bolter if you put this magazine on. So you will need an upgrade sprue, again from eBay, of auto bolt rifle magazines. Again, they're not too pricey. The barrel with this one, it is simply an Intercessor barrel. Again, I cut the barrel off the Eradicator, the melter off the Eradicator, and then just stuck this on. Now, this is very tricky because you can see here that it's actually 2 pieces. So you will need to be very, very careful with gluing that bit on the top and then the main bolter barrel on there. These are 2 very small pieces. It was very, very fiddly. So that's how you get it on there. So auto bolt rifle magazine and a regular Intercessor barrel. So you will have to either get upgrade sprues or cannibalize some Intercessors. Probably not wise to cannibalize your Intercessors. And you'll have to cannibalize a finger there as well. And you'll need a purity seal. So that's it for this guy. Like I said, trickiest thing was doing the arms. That will take some patience to do that. The rest of it's exactly the same. I haven't changed anything. So that's those 2 guys done at the back. And I'm just going to quickly rattle through these ones. Same principle. Aggressor head, auto bolt rifle magazine, Intercessor barrels, should I say there. And one thing I would say, you can see that this guy, rather than having his hand on the top of the weapon, he's got it on the bottom. Again, same principle. Cut the arm off, or if it's not assembled, stick the arm on. Before you do that, cut the wrist off, turn the wrist round. Remember what I was saying earlier about him having his hand facing down? You'll need to cut the hand off and invert it. Then you cut the excess bit off the side here. So if you've got bits sticking out of his hand, then you can just do that. And then you'll need to slightly cut into his hand to get it to look like he's got a thumb. Because remember, that was originally a fist. So cut it off, turn it around, stick it back on, and then it looks like he's got his hand underneath. And if you can use some decent recessing as you've done there, it'll look like a hand. Again, but you do need to shave into the hand slightly under there. And again, auto bolt barrel. And I find when you're doing any kit bashing or changing monopose sculptures, do as much as you can with moving the head so it looks either right or left. And that's that. That's him. This guy, completely alley. Again, with the right arm, cut the arm off, stick it on, push it back, and you'll need to just trim in here, trim that bit, the bit off the Eradicator, which was placed on top there. I will say actually something I missed here. In the Stalker, you can actually, in the kit that I got the auto bolter there, I actually put on these little scopes as well. I originally put them on the top. Again, it's just rule of cool. It just looked cool having a scope on it. So I know it shouldn't. That's actually from a Stalker. That came with the same kit. You got Stalker bolt rifle scopes, and they just really cool stuck on the side there. And again, this guy was really tricky. Again, same principle. Cut the arms off, glue it, let it dry slightly, pull it out, put more glue in, so you've got this filler in there. You can let the paint and recessing do the rest. So yep, one-handed alley, and that head tilt there was tricky to do as well. It's very tricky to get the head tilt like that. But again, and then Purity Seal to cover up the little hole on the front from the Indomitus monopose. Cool. So that's that guy. And this guy, again, pointing up. A lot of guys, I think I've posted these on a few forums and on Instagram. Check out my Instagram link below if you want to see more detail, these models in more detail. Looking up the scope. A lot of guys who have given me feedback, like this guy, his pose, and also the heavy bolter guy. The heavy bolter, because of rule of cool. I mean, what's not cool about a massive belt-fed bolter? Again, you need to cut the hand off, turn it round, cut into it so that it fits snug underneath the melter barrel, the melter rifle gun. Cut the barrel off and put on the heavy bolter and auto bolter cartridge or drum case, should I say, the drum, and then move the arm. He's quite tricky. You'll need to get him to point up like that and get his head with his eye to fit flush with the scope is tricky. You're going to need some patience to do that. That's that guy. And then finally we have the only thing that's different about him is this guy has a larger magazine feed. This is also from a heavy bolter upgrade. The slightly different one, not the belt-fed one like this chap. It's from a different upgrade kit which has a nice big fat drum magazine. Again, I've kept the pose quite similar. With none of them have I had the original Eradicator hand on the top. That just seemed too lazy. So again, as we say, third time, cut the hand off, turn it round, shave into it so it fits flug. It looks like it fits snug underneath. And again with the arms. And this guy is my veteran, so I've done him with a white helmet. I mean, they're an elite veteran squad. That's my lore behind them. And that's it. That's all the guys. So I hope you find this interesting. Please comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you like them? Do you hate them? Have you done your own? Is it pointless doing them? Because by the time this comes out, you can already buy Heavy Intercessors. Do you prefer these poses that I've done here? Let's spin them around, shall we? Do you prefer these poses rather than the default GW ones? Or do you prefer them? Is there anything you like more about these than the standard ones? Do you think you'll make your own? Again, comment down below if you like. Make sure to smash that like button. And if you found this video helpful, do give me a follow. I'm going to continue to make more of these. And yeah, CNC is always welcome. Let me know if you've done your own kit bashes as well, or any ideas you'd like for other kit bashes to appear on this video. So just to recap, you'll need 6 Eradicators. You'll need a bolt, 2 heavy bolter upgrade kits, firstborn that is. You'll need a sprue of auto bolt rifle drum magazines, and you'll need some Aggressor heads or some extra heads from an Eradicator multi-part kit, which is already out now that you can get. In total, I think this probably cost me at the time, it was £15 for 3 Eradicators, so that was 30 in total. You're looking at anyone that collects sprues on eBay, upgrade bits. They are pricey. They can be anything from a couple of quid to a £5. So probably, all in all, this probably cost me around 40 quid to make. At the time of making this, I have no idea how much the new, I assume they're going to come in 5s, Heavy Intercessors are. Thank you for joining me today, and happy wargaming, happy kit bashing, and you all take care. For the Emperor and for the Imperium, this has been Chapter Master Morgan. Check you later.